Hey Pokemon fans, Real Mama Eagle here, also known as Key, and today I'm here to talk to you about the most annoying location in every single Pokemon generation. The opinions in this video are my own, based on my own personal experiences, and based on what just irritated me the absolute most. Let me know in the comment section down below what locations irritated you in every Pokemon generation. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Ding that bell so you know when videos are up, and let's get started. Let's start with Generation 1. The most annoying location in Generation 1 to me is still, to this day, Rock Tunnel. Rock Tunnel is a very jagged, rocky pass that you must cross, and it is the only way to reach Lavender Town. There's nowhere else literally to go. You have to use the Flash HM to get through, which means unless you have an HM slave, you have to teach one of your Pokemon Flash, which can be very annoying because we all know the original Gen 1 has no move deleter. If you taught them that move, you were pretty much stuck with it. But what was annoying about Rock Tunnel was the excessive amount of hikers, and I was always the person that did not get water or grass, always went with Charmander. So unless I had another Pokemon to complement to take care of those hikers, it was very annoying to get through a lot of those battles in Rock Tunnel. It also felt like when you played original Gen 1, Rock Tunnel never ended. You'd go up one ladder and you're like, I'm still not out of this cave yet. Oh, and look, there's another hiker. And also there's another Zubat. So it was just one of those experiences that was a mess. And if you were one of those people that actually got through Rock Tunnel without using Flash, bless you, because it was very, very annoying. In Generation 2, there's one location in particular that definitely sticks out to me in Silver and Soul Silver respectively, and that is Whirl Islands. And it's such a shame because in those games you can get Lugia there, which is a pretty cool legendary depending on who you talk to, but it's a hassle. For starters, it's a death trap. It's surrounded by whirlpools that can literally sink you down to your death. I know people are going to say, Key, you can use the move Whirlpool, but whirlpools are still scary no matter how you draw it up for me. And if you talk to the citizens in Olivine City, they talk about how bad children were sent to Whirl Islands as punishment. So you're telling me you're scaring kids with folklore stories about sending them to Whirl Islands to get sucked down by whirlpools as punishment? That's horrifying. And then when you get inside Whirl Islands, it's a complete maze, a jagged mess to navigate, extremely annoying. Waterfalls, whirlpools, so many different ways to go, and it's very, very frustrating to navigate, which makes it one of the worst dungeons in the entire game. But with the navigation, with the lore, with the whirlpools, I want no part of it. Definitely the worst location in Gen 2. In Generation 3, there are a couple of locations that could definitely be annoying, especially for the people who hate water. And you're wrong because the water is amazing. But the worst location in Generation 3 has to be Jagged Pass. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about Mount Chimney and coming down Mount Chimney. I do like the volcanic scene that Jagged Pass has to offer, but I hate how you have to navigate it. If you go down Jagged Pass, there's multiple ways you can go down the rocks or go over the ledges. And depending on what items you want to access, you have to have two different bikes to access that. So you may have to switch to the acro bike just to navigate up certain parts of Jagged Pass, then go back to the bike shop, switch your bike, and then you have to remember what way you went down, because if you go down the wrong way, you have to go back to the top of Mount Chimney and start it all over again. So it's a great location as far as aesthetic, but a very annoying location as far as you navigating to get all the items and having to go up and then down and then switch your bike out and then do this and do that, all while getting stopped by trainers on that route. So it definitely is the most annoying and worst location in Generation 3. In Generation 4, my pick is probably going to break a lot of hearts, and I love the concept of this place. I just hate the execution. But the worst location in Generation 4 for me is the Great Marsh. Don't get me wrong, I love a good safari zone. I like the tram that takes you to different areas, and it's the only place that you can get the dreaded Defog HM. But the Great Marsh is annoying simply because you can't really fully navigate it the way you want to and enjoy it in its entirety without getting stuck in the bog and mud every 5 seconds. That's so annoying. Then you have to wiggle around to jump out, go a few feet, oh great, you're stuck again. So as far as navigating, with Gen 4, originally they're already slow engine. The Great Marsh in the original games was such a nightmare to navigate. But because of that element of you getting stuck repeatedly and not fully getting to explore and get all the items and all the Pokemon you want to see, because that slows you down, makes this the worst location in Gen 4. Even though Generation 5 is technically a two-parter, the worst location in Gen 5 definitely comes from Black and White 2, and that location is Pokestar Studios. Ugh, I hate the fact that as soon as you beat Roxy's gym, Pokestar Studios is forced upon you. You have to go there, meet a very cringe man named Studio. Game Freak, seriously. And then you have to go make a movie with Bryson, who's very cool, but it's a corny movie about the amusement park and fighting in the amusement park. Then, after recording the movie, you're forced to go watch it. And this just takes a bunch of time, takes a chunk out of the game. You're sitting here looking at the time like, I just want to catch my ship to Castelia City. Why am I here in Pokestar Studios? Now, don't get me wrong, it's probably a great element to go to after the game and in the post game, but the fact that they forced it on you and made that a mandatory part of the story that you have to complete before you can get progress in the game is what makes it one of the worst locations. And it's also just so cringe. Studio, really? Generation 6's worst location is just so laughable that this is only going to take like 2 seconds. Because the worst location in Gen 6 is the Chamber of Emptiness. If you don't know where the Chamber of Emptiness is, it's right off Route 22 near Sand Saloon City. You have to surf to access it, but it's too literal. You go into the chamber and it's literally the Chamber of Emptiness. All that is in there is a megastone for a bonnet, and of course you can get a spooky plate to power up your ghost moves, but it's too literal. There's literally nothing. Like, what was the objective of this cave? You literally could have just put the bonnet, megastone, and the spooky plate anywhere in the game, but you just made a cave for the sake of just making a cave. It makes no sense to me, serves no purpose, and the fact that they named it too literal, come on, Game Freak, I love you, but what were we doing here? That's definitely the worst location in Generation 6. In Generation 7, the most annoying location and worst location has to be the Hyena Desert. And it's a shame because I generally like deserts in Pokemon games. I think they find some great ways to put great Pokemon in the game and great items, and Hyena Desert is no different. It does have those things, but navigating it is an absolute nightmare. And the time of day is also very annoying because you're either going to get harsh sunlight during the day or those annoying sandstorms at night that are going to interrupt and make all your battles with trainers and wild Pokemon very annoying. But it's so maze-like. You go one way, it could go into a split into a different route. You could go back to the beginning of the forest. It's basically like the Lost Woods and The Legend of Zelda and Ocarina of Time. You basically have to know exactly what path you're going in to get the right items and to ultimately get through the desert and to fight the trainers. But that maze and that navigation make it a very big headache, which makes it the worst location in Gen 7. I actually find Generation 8 a very big delight to explore as a whole, so there weren't really a lot of annoying locations. But if I had to pick one in particular, I would have to say is Galar Mine number 2. First of all, the naming makes no sense. Who thought naming it Galar Mine number 2, and even the first Galar Mine, was a good idea? We could have had a little bit more creativity with the naming, Game Freak. Come on. But besides it having a stupid name, it was very annoying to navigate. I do think the Galar Mine 1 and Galar Mine 2 are very beautiful, but Galar Mine 2 in particular had those annoying stun fists masquerading as Pokeballs, and it seemed like the random encounters in Galar Mine number 2 were off the charts. It felt like I was being constantly stopped, constantly interrupted by random encounters and trainer battles, to the point where navigating and getting the few items that were in the cave felt like an absolute chore. So that to me is the worst location in Generation 8. Do you agree or disagree? Was I spot on with my very annoying Pokemon locations, or were you able to find locations that were a little bit more annoying than mine? Talk to me in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ding that bell. I am also Real Mama Eagle on all social media platforms, and I do live streams at twitch.tv/RealMamaEagle on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.